Law Enforcement Today. Inside Politics, Outside of the Box. August 23, 2024. From Law Enforcement Today. Biden-Harris nuclear weapons official obsessed with DEI, calls for clearing nuclear weapons. Washington, D.C. Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and other madmen worldwide take note. A Biden-Harris administration official at the Department of Energy's Nuclear Security Administration, NSA, wants to make sure that so-called queer theory is part of America's national security program, National Review reports. The Biden-Harris administration must be a laughingstock among foreign strongmen. Sneha Nair, special assistant in the NSA, has previously written about the intersection between diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, and nuclear security concerns, saying that DEI is an important framework for addressing widespread social and political inequities with critical implications for strengthening security at nuclear facilities. Right. She wrote in a Stimson Center article that DEI is essential for strong nuclear security implementation, while adding that creating a diverse, equitable, and inclusive nuclear security culture requires organizations to ensure that DEI is seen as a critical component of security throughout the organization, from the executives to the guard force. Right. If anything proves that the Biden-Harris administration is not serious about protecting our national security, their obsession with DEI and queer theory is proof positive, as if their open border policies are not enough. Fox News reports that Nair was a former research analyst with the Nuclear Security Program at Stimson, which is the beneficiary of hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding from none other than Marxist billionaire George Soros and his Open Society foundations. The Embassy of the State of Qatar, a reported hideout for terrorist leaders from Hamas and Hezbollah, has donated millions of dollars to Stimson, Fox reported. She was appointed to the NSA in February 2024. Among her radical beliefs is the eradication of white supremacy in the nuclear field, and suggests clearing nuclear weapons as part of a day push. She believes that is essential to deter threats to nuclear energy facilities in the U.S. Finally, queer theory informs the struggle for nuclear justice and disarmament. Nair wrote last year. Queer theory helps to shift the perception of nuclear weapons as instruments for security by telling the hidden stories of displacement, illness, and trauma caused by their production and testing. Right. This should give the American people confidence that those tasked with our national security, with Iran reportedly close to weaponizing uranium, are laser-focused on keeping us safe. Nair made a more wide-ranging argument that DEI is essential for creating effective nuclear policy. Right. Fox News reached out to the Stimson Center and the Department of Energy for comment, however, neither responded. In an April 2023 article, Nair claimed without evidence that without implementation of a DEI agenda, workers at nuclear security facilities are at risk of becoming insider threats. Right. By understanding DEI as a set of values critical to security, and therefore as an element of an effective security culture, stakeholders can explore how DEI can contribute to stronger security at nuclear facilities. She wrote. Nair believes that white staff at nuclear facilities are unable to evaluate threats from people from the same racial groups. Notably, she said, white supremacists. Diversifying the perspectives included in nuclear security decision-making can expand the definition of what constitutes a threat for nuclear security. She said, the notion of threat and security are defined by the dominant culture, which inherently sidelines how marginalized groups perceive threats. Nair is clearly racist against whites since she is obsessed with the notion that whites are the only insider threat possible at nuclear facilities. An example of this is the threat posed by some white supremacist groups to nuclear facilities. May go undetected if a white majority workforce does not perceive these ideological leanings as indicators of a relevant nuclear security threat. She said. Imagine if Nair wrote that about blacks, Hispanics, or Asians. Nair disparaged the fact that qualified applicants with foreign ties have been discouraged from applying to sensitive national security positions and faced barriers to obtaining a security clearance. Right? And that is supposed to be a bad thing? Who thinks qualified applicants who have ties to Palestinians, Iranians, or the Chinese government should be able to work in sensitive national security positions? Right? Nair believes they should. Nair includes all the buzzwords, including implicit bias, affinity bias, lack of inclusion, etc. She claimed that diverse talent, women, people of color, or other minority communities are deterred from entering a field that lacks leaders who look like them. Much like the NBA, an equitable work environment in which personnel feel included is also likely to breed higher employee satisfaction, which improves performance and reduces the likelihood of insider threats going unnoticed. Nair wrote, collectively, these principles of DEI can work to mitigate counterproductive work behavior and prevent disgruntled employees from becoming insider threats. She claimed. Not happy with merely getting into DEI, also known as critical race theory, Nair then delved into queer theory, where it concerns national security threats. Queer theory, changing the narrative. Queer theory is a field of study, closely related to feminist theory, that examines sex and gender-based norms. It shines a light on the harm done by nuclear weapons through uranium mining, nuclear tests, and the tax money spent on nuclear weapons. The queer lens prioritizes the rights and well-being of people over the abstract idea of national security, and it challenges the mainstream understanding of nuclear weapons, questioning whether they truly deter nuclear war, stabilize geopolitics, and reduce the likelihood of conventional war. Queer theory asks, who created these ideas? How are they being upheld? Whose interests do they serve? And whose experiences are being excluded? Right? The Biden-Harris administration seems to have a sordid history by whom they hire for high-profile positions connected to nuclear energy. In 2022, they hired renowned luggage thief and cross-dresser Sam Brinton as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition at the Office of Nuclear Energy, a division of the Department of Energy. Brinton was fired and subsequently arrested for stealing luggage at Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas in July 2022. Later that year, Brinton was arrested for stealing a woman's suitcase from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport on September 16. He was also tied into a March 2018 theft from Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. when a fashion designer recognized custom-designed clothing she made being worn by Brinton in photos. Brinton was reported as no longer being an employee of the Department of Energy on December 12, 2022. According to a DOE spokesperson,